when I was asked to give a Bhagavatam class, I thought, well, the whole Bhagavatam is so beautiful. So many verses, 18,000. Shikshashtakam is 8 verses. I also can't speak on 8 verses in 1 or 2 classes, but I can speak on 1. So I chose to speak on this verse. This verse summarizes, in a way, the other 8, the other 7. In his Bhajan Rahasya, Bhaktivinoda Thakur associates the different verses of Shikshashtakam with different stages in our spiritual development, from Shraddha to Prema. So this Chetodarpana verse is joined with Shraddha, that initial faith that one develops. That initial faith is that before commitment, when we just think, well, I don't know why, but I like being with the devotees. Let me just go. I don't know if it's true or if it's not, but I like it. So let me go. That is initial faith. Everyone who is here has gone to that stage. And of course that stage doesn't stay there. It gets deeper and deeper and deeper. That is the stage of Chetodarpana Marjanam, but at the same time, Chetodarpana Marjanam is also so much more. So the translation goes, let there be all glory for the chanting of the holy name of Lord Krishna, which can cleanse the mirror of the heart and stop the miseries of the blazing fire of material existence. That chanting is the waxing moon that spreads the white lotus of good fortune for all living entities. It is the life and soul of all education. The chanting of the holy name of Krishna expands the blissful ocean of transcendental life. It gives a cooling effect to everyone and enables one to taste the full nectar at every step. So I'm borrowing commentaries from Bhaktivinoda Thakur, our spiritual grandfather, who wrote commentaries on Shikshashtakam. Srila Prabhupada did not give much commentary on Chaitanya Charitamrita. If we take this verse right from the beginning, the chanting of the holy name cleanses the mirror of the heart. I don't know about Malaysia, but I know in India, the sweepers are known as the lower class people. Do you have sweepers here? Yes. The holy name is so merciful that it assumes the form of a sweeper and enters our heart and gets rid of all the dust. This is the mercy of the holy name. Of course, we say this prayer every day, and we say it something like, let there be glory to Lord Shri Krishna Sankirtan, slightly different words in this. But when we really ask the Lord to help us understand the full meaning, and we can see, right there it says, the holy name becomes a sweeper to cleanse our heart. And stop the miseries of the blazing fire of material existence. This means no more birth, no more samsara. This is what's given by the holy name. And we've only gone through one line. The chanting is the waxing moon that spreads the white lotus of good fortune for all living entities. This example of using the white lotus of good fortune. The white lotus not only is strikingly beautiful, but it also blossoms in the night, just like a beautiful flower of the holy name blossoming in the darkest age of Kali. Good fortune for all living entities. All this is talking about the holy name. This is what the holy name is. Good fortune for all living entities. It is the life and soul of all education. Vidya Vadu Jivana. Vidya means knowledge. Vadu is Sanskrit for wife. So usually a new wife, should be old wife also, right? A wife follows the husband. So just like a wife follows her husband, knowledge follows the holy name. Now what happens when knowledge follows the holy name? Ignorance is destroyed. When I first met the devotees in 1971, I was 16, I went to the temple, I was asking lots of questions. Now, in 1971, the senior devotees, like the temple president, let's say, I've been a devotee 2 years. GBC's maybe 3 years. So the devotee who preached to me, I've been a devotee for 2 weeks. I was shaven up, saffron robe, complete, just made up his mind, and he'd been in the temple for 2 weeks. So I was asking so many questions. I'm sure most of them were very silly, but nevertheless, he couldn't answer everything. And he said, I don't know the answers to your questions, but I can tell you there's something special about this mantra. If you chant this mantra, all your answers will be revealed to you. Where did he get that from? Vidya Vadu Jivanam. It was only in the movement for 2 weeks. So many of us moving for 10, 20, 30, 40 years, and we don't have full realization that Vidya Vadu Jivanam, the holy name, gives knowledge, just like a wife follows her husband. Now, when this knowledge comes and avidya is destroyed, something quite miraculous comes about it. Maybe I'll read it to you because otherwise you may not believe me. Because it's very dramatic. So, maybe I'll read the whole paragraph because it's very, when I first read this, I thought, it's like light bulbs, and I don't want to, I'll read it this in front of Radha and Krishna. A pertinent query at this juncture would be, at what stage does a person who has attained the level of pure devotion acquire his pure spiritual identity, his swadharma? Any of you interested in acquiring your pure spiritual identity? I think everyone. So at what stage? Lord Chaitanya, and then many times we hear, oh, it doesn't say, sometimes. But here it says. Lord Chaitanya replies by saying, Vidyavadu Jivanam, the life of all transcendental knowledge. The Supreme Lord's Shakti has two aspects, Vidya or knowledge, and Avidya or ignorance. Yogamaya, Shri Krishna's Swarup Shakti, or internal spiritual potency, is called Vidya, whereas its external energy, Mahamaya, is Avidya. It is this latter that creates a material universe and covers the soul's Swarup. When the first rays of pure devotion finally appear on the horizon of the sadhaka's hearts by sincerely following the process of hearing and chanting, gradually Bhakti Devi, or the goddess of pure devotional process, the eradicator of all unwanted material desires detrimental to the Lord's service, eclipses the avidya potency. So Bhakti Devi comes and gets rid of avidya. by suffering the soul, by suffusing the soul with spiritual knowledge. She destroys both the gross and subtle coverings of the soul. Simultaneously, and now listen, the jiva's original spiritual form becomes manifest to the extent that he receives the form of a gopi, for example. If his spiritual proclivity is steeped in the conjugal mood, thus it stands proven that Krishna's name is the life and soul of all transcendental knowledge. Vidya Vadu Jivanam. So what does Jiva Vadu Jivanam mean? That this knowledge will reveal the identity of the soul. Just Mahamantra. How can I say just Mahamantra? But we take Mahamantra so much for granted. This is by the process of Mahamantra. So we were Vidyavatu Jivanam, Anandam Buddhivardhanam. Anandam Buddhivardhanam, an ever-increasing ocean of bliss. Now, the first time we came to the temple, we felt a little maybe bliss, or maybe the second time, or whenever that real first time was, we felt that bliss. And this is ever-increasing, ever-increasing. Spiritual happiness is completely pure. It cures the disease of material existence. Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. Let there be glory to this holy name. Let there be glory. It gives all these things. Krishna comes as a sweeper, cleanses the heart, gives you the knowledge, gives you bliss, eternal knowledge. Avidya is destroyed. Let there be glory to the holy name. So now the question becomes, yes, but I've been chanting for 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. Hasn't happened to me. Why is that? But Bhaktivinoda Thakur telling us why. It's because we don't chant properly. We have to call out to the Lord. There's different times where you can be shy and reserved, but that's not in chanting. I noticed this morning when I came in for kirtan, Vasanta was trying to wake up everybody. Everybody was so proper. I think chant with abandon. Chant with abandon, like your life depends on it. Why? Because your life depends on it. Lives depend on it. Will you stay in a circle of birth, death, old age, disease, birth, death, old age, disease, birth, death, old age, disease? So do you want to jump out? But you have to do something to jump out. You have to jump. You have to give it all you have. You have to chant with your heart. You have to chant very deeply. So this full message is given in the first shloka of Shikshashtaka. Are there any questions so far? Yes. I don't know if we need a mic or if you can speak loud enough.
You mentioned that you take the holy name for granted. Can you give a little example?
Very easy. How much japa do you chant in a day? How much do you chant in a day?
39.
39. And what do you do the rest of the day?
Different things.
Different things. Krishna is his name. Why you don't stay with him? Why you don't stay with him? It's because we don't have it really fully realized that Krishna is his name. one time devotees asked, Srila Prabhupada heard a devotee giving a class, and he was saying, please sit down, I don't want to keep you standing, I know what it feels like. A devotee was giving a class and he was saying, Krishna is in his name, is in his name. So Srila Prabhupada interrupted him and he said, oh, where in his name? Because actually Krishna is not in his name, Krishna is his name. Krishna is his name. But if we're chanting 4 rounds of Mataji is chanting more, but if we're chanting 4 rounds a day, then how much of this realization do we have that Krishna is his name? Or sometimes we will chant and we will chant with disdain. Good, it's done. What now? Right? I've done it. Now this is Krishna. This is our relationship with Krishna. If you ask practically any sadhus in our sampradaya, I have personal example, devotees asking, oh, please bless me to chant more. Bless me to chant 64 rounds, or bless me to chant more. And quite often, the answer will be, or maybe bless me to chant 39 rounds. Quite often, the answer will be, why 39? You should chant 24 hours a day. This is our mandate. Srila Prabhupada told us 16 minimum, and especially in youth, you have so much energy. You want to do so many things. You want to do this and you want to do that. But try to keep the Lord with you. Keep Him in your tongue. Keep Him on your mind as much as you can. Prabhupada said 16 rounds on the beats and hundreds of rounds off the beats. So really, the more we understand, the more we accept that Krishna is His name, the more we will want to always have Him with us. And the more we do it, the more we want to do it. And the more we want to do it, the more we do it. And it just goes on and on, closer and closer to Krishna, closer and closer to knowing how to serve Him eternally. Any other questions so far? Okay, and we'll move to the second verse of Shikshashtakam. Nam Nam Makari Bahudani Sarva Shakti Tadjapitanya Hitasmaranena Kalaha Edadrishi Tava Kripa Bhagavan Mamapi Durdaivami Vishanya Janina Yuragaha. My Lord, O Supreme Personality of Godhead, in your holy name there is all good fortune for the living entity. Therefore you have many names, such as Krishna and Govinda, by which you expand yourself. You have invested all your potencies in those names, and there are no hard and fast rules for remembering them. My dear Lord, although you bestow such mercy upon the fallen, conditioned souls by liberally teaching your holy name, I'm so unfortunate that I commit offenses while chanting the holy name, and therefore I do not achieve attachment for chanting. We'll take it from the beginning. You have many names such as Krishna and Govinda. In this shloka, no, Chaitanya doesn't say Ishvara, Kartamasha. He doesn't say doing names. He says Leela names. There's different categories of names. There's the Leela names, and then there's also the grander Leelas, like Nishinga, Parashuram, avatar names. And then there's further away still names where Krishna is the controller, he's the maintainer, like that. So here it talks about names like Krishna and Govinda. Those are the names that we're referring to, and those are the names in the Maha Mantra, and those are the names in chants like Harihatayinama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha. Those are also Leela names. Leela names are the ones that give us this Krishna prema, not Aishwarya prema, this other prema, Raj prema. You have invested all your potencies in those names, and there are no hard and fast rules for remembering them. That means you don't need to sit down in the lotus. You don't need to. You can chant in your car. You can chant on a horse, on a donkey, walking, sitting, in this room, in that room, in whichever room. You don't need to be wearing a sari. You don't need to have taken bath. You don't need to be wearing anything, really. You don't need to have beads. You can chant without beads also. Of course, that was something that, counting our japa is something that was very important to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. When he went traveling to South India, he said, this time I'm going alone, you all stay. I'm going, and you stay here. And they were trying to think of different ways. Oh, what if maybe one person can come and help you, or maybe someone should come along. And they were trying different ways, but it was only when the devotees said, but if you're carrying your kamandalu in your cloth, how will you count your chanting? He didn't have beads, he had a knotted cloth. And he says, okay, then someone can come with me. Why counting? I could ask almost any one of you how many, except you. You may not know. But if I asked you how many blue saris, you would know, obviously. How many blue saris you have? Or how many silk ones you have? Probably you know. All of you thinking a little bit in your head when I say how many red saris you have, you're thinking, yeah, I have, and 2 are silk and 1 is cotton, or 20 are silk and 5 are cotton, whatever, you know. Why? Because you care. If you ask a man what's his bank balance, or what are his assets, or what is net worth, he knows. He knows his net worth. He doesn't know, oh, I have 1 or 3 or 5 houses, I can't remember. No, he knows. If he's invested in real estate, he has 5 houses. He knows it's 5. It's not 4 or 6, it's 5. He knows. So the things that we care about, we count. So therefore we count our japa. It doesn't mean that when we stop counting, we can't count because we're cooking. We still chant. We still chant, and it transforms this activity of cooking into something devotional that we're doing for Krishna. So there are no hard and fast rules in chanting this name. Although you bestow your mercy upon the fallen conditioned souls by liberally teaching your holy name, I'm so unfortunate that I commit offenses while chanting the holy name. We all know these offenses. We say them in the morning. Those who were not here this morning, you were somewhere else. Maybe you also recited them. And then, there goes the answer to our problem. Therefore, I do not achieve attachment for chanting. How many of you have attachment for chanting? You don't need to raise your hand. It's probably not going to be enough. Most people say, I have no taste, I have no taste, I just do it. I have no taste, I have no taste. I hear it everywhere I go, I have no taste, I just do it. Why is no taste? Because we commit offenses. How do we get taste? We stop committing offenses. Simple. We just stop committing offenses. First offense, to blaspheme the devotees who have dedicated their lives. Sadhu Linda, That's so easy. And the reason why it's so easy is because of our natural mentality of criticizing everything, everywhere, everything we see, everywhere we go. Why wasn't the floor swept? Why is this color? Why is that this color? Why did they make it round? You should have made it square. Why did they make it square? You should have made it round. Why did they cook it so long? They could have cooked it a bit less. Why did they put so much salt? Why did they put so less salt? This is our nature. In everything we see, in everything we do, we will put in our 2 cents, our criticizing. And that's not Vaishnava Paran, but it's a habit that we have in everything we say. We will put our 2 cents. Some criticism will be there. And then when we come to being with devotees, we think that we'll stop. No, this is our second nature. We're always criticizing. Why did you like this? Why did you like that? Why this? Why that? Why this dark pink should be light pink? Why? Why? Everywhere we say, so then and then that same criticizing mentality follows. Except that now it's aparad. It wasn't aparad when you just said, why they make it round instead of square. That was just a remark that you thought maybe square would have been better. You get 4 more pieces. But when we keep this mentality of criticizing, then it follows us into our daily activity, our daily association with devotees. Does everybody understand what I'm trying to say? I feel I'm not using the right words. Or is someone grabbing it? You understand what I'm saying? It's our criticizing mentality that follows us. So what are we going to do about it? We have to train ourselves. And nowadays you get in the Western world, especially so many people talking about positive thinking, la-di-da-di-da, dreamy thing. But for us, this seeing good in others becomes an exercise towards never committing Vaishnava Paran. If we see the good, if we don't criticize, then we can train our mind to also see the good amongst Vaishnavas. I was speaking about this topic once in Delhi, in Chippiwara, which is old Delhi, very dirty, very old. There's a museum being built there. Srila Prabhupada used to have his Delhi office. So I was leaving Srila Prabhupada's temple in Chippiwara, and devotees were, the road is not even a road, it's maybe wide enough for a rickshaw, maybe. It's very narrow road that you go to get there. So I get to the road and the car is supposed to be picking me up, but the car can't stop anywhere because there's a whole row of taxis. So I just finished speaking about criticizing, and then what comes to mind? These stupid taxis, all parked here, can't even walk in between them. And it didn't even come out, like it just was trying to come in my head. And I said, oh no, you're not going to get me with that one. We're finished with this. We're finished with criticizing for no reason. So then, okay, you have a task. My dear mind, you have a task. You wanted to criticize, now you find something good. Change. Find the good. So convenient. In this Chippiwara, 9:30 at night, you can get a taxi like this. It's just a change of mentality, right? So we can train our mind. Mind doesn't like to get jobs.
Hare Krishna. So as we heard from Mataji, so amazingly she was describing. So now I would like to share the presentation so that we can glorify her and know details about her. So yes. So, so it was an amazing lecture. Actually, there were very less lectures which I could get on the internet, without translation, because she used to travel to various countries, and the lectures which I got had translation with them. So just thought to get a pure lecture without interruption. So about her grace, Yashomati Mataji, she's known for these three things: dedicated disciple, teacher of kirtan, and scholar and mentor. So how she had the early life and how she entered ISKCON. She was born in 1954, joined Srila Prabhupada's mission in very early days. It was around the year 1971, and she moved to the temple in May 1972. So this generation of devotees, doesn't mostly know that how someone can join so quick in ISKCON. But she moved to the temple in the next year, just 1 year later, and was initiated by Srila Prabhupada in the same year. She also served as Pujari, deity worship, until 1974 when she was married. About family life and temple service, she raised 4 children while assisting her husband in founding multiple temples and schools. So we'll know in the further part of the presentation that she was known for uh, teaching students. So we can see that she was inspired by her husband, was in founding multiple temples and schools, and she managed the balance of family life plus active service. She was one of the very empowering Matajis in our mission who taught us how to balance the spiritual life plus, you know, spiritual life plus the household life altogether. So now coming about relocation and Mayapur service. So we have been knowing Mataji that she's been from around 1991. She has been staying periodically in Mayapur while returning to Canada. In 2010, she moved permanently to Mayapur. She took up administrative and leadership roles there. So initially, it said that Kirtan Mela in ISKCON was pioneered by His Holiness Tamal Krishna Goswami Maharaj. So it said that before leaving his body, Maharaj used to have Kirtan Melas back at his room in Mayapur. So there were many devotees who used to join them for the Kirtan Mela, but once he left his body, that Kirtan Mela trend was over. Then later on, it was started by His Holiness Sachinandan Swami Maharaj in Mayapur. And later, when Maharaj's health was getting deteriorated, Yashomati Mataji took the lead to take part in to lead the Kirtan Mela in Mayapur, and various other ISKCON temples have been following her footsteps and pioneering new Kirtan Mela programs at the local temples. So once she moved to Mayapur, after 2012, as far as my records, Kirtan Mela started around the same year, 2012 or so. And she took up those administrative services and leadership roles in Sridham Mayapur. Key roles and projects. She was the project coordinator of Mayapur TV. So initially in the years when Mayapur TV was launched, it was very difficult for Indians to watch through Mayapur TV because there were many restrictions. So she spent a lot of money and raised funds so that Mayapur TV could be brought to India, so that everyone can access darshans of many temples through only one portal. So now what you see, Mayapur TV is quite a bit different. Initially, how Mayapur TV was, there used to be various channels of various ISKCON temples who used to live stream all their programs, especially from Mangala Aarti to Shayan Aarti, on that same website of Mayapur TV. So you could go to Ujjain Darshan, you could take darshan of Mayapur, ISKCON, Kanpur, and various other temples which were listed on that website. So she was the original project coordinator of Mayapur.tv. And she was Dean of Students, Kirtan Academy. So Kirtan Academy is academy in Mayapur. I know one of the academy which is in Mayapur. Maybe there might be various other parts of it in various parts of the world. But she was Dean of the students in Kirtan Academy. Apart from this, Mataji was co-managing director of Mayapur International Kirtan Mela. As I said, that Kirtan Mela which takes place in Mayapur just before the Navadvip Mandal Parikrama in March, February, March, somewhere around that. She is the co-managing director of the Kirtan Mela. At present, she is advisory board member of Kirtan Academy and International Kirtan Mela. International Kirtan Mela means not just Kirtan Mela at ISKCON Mayapur, but worldwide, like Radha Desh Mellows or Sadhu Sangha Retreat, or there are many to name. So she is the advisory board member of all these Kirtan Melas. And she is the director of Kirtan Foundation in Mayapur. So there is a foundation in Mayapur. In case you might have seen Kirtan Mellows. So it's another one of the projects which she is leading, which comes under the part of Kirtan Foundation in Mayapur. Devotional and personal qualities. So she is deeply committed to service despite familial responsibilities. As we said that she has already 4 children, but she was known for balancing the spiritual life and committing service to ISKCON. She is known for balanced care for her children and temple mission, sincere, humble, and always seeking to elevate devotional life of others. Courage to relocate internationally for service and to settle permanently in Mayapur. So apart from this, which one point I missed, she is known for preaching in Bengali language. You might have seen like American devotees speaking Bengali. Yes, you heard that right. So she's known for preaching in Bengal, and she has rays of Bangladesh. Apart from this, devotional and personal service, despite familial responsibilities. Oh, I've done this. Right? Temple and family service. She served as a pujari from 1972 to 1974. After initiation by Srila Prabhupada, assisted her husband in opening multiple temples and schools, raised 4 children while maintaining active devotional service. Did it. Conducts seminars worldwide on deepening one's chanting practice. So this lecture which we played was initially from uh, Mataji's retreat that was that took place in Malaysia. Apart from Malaysia, she also takes this seminar in various parts of the country. Again, improving quality and sincerity in kirtan. So she is known for the kirtan standards. So she gives seminar on this. Inspires devotees to avoid offenses and cultivate pure chanting. She also holds japa retreats. Legacy of Yashomati Mataji. A lifelong service dedicated their entire life in loving service to Srila Prabhupada and mission of Lord Chaitanya. So we have been seeing, like from the original, like in the presentation, we saw that apart from taking care of the family, raising 4 children in Krishna consciousness, she has also been into various administrative services of ISKCON, which are in itself a full-time service. Personal example through humility, devotion, and perseverance inspired thousands of devotees worldwide. Mataji is very accessible. Even if you go to Mayapur, I've personally seen that people can approach her, and with a very ease mentality, she opens up. If you have any doubts, any queries, anything to open up to her, she would be very happy to share her memories with you. She is very humble and open, and specifically, I would say like she's open to all. We can easily access her. Contribution left behind an enduring impact through her preaching, teaching, leadership, and kirtan. Imagine an American woman going to countries like Bangladesh, which is one of the Muslim dominated countries, and preaching Krishna consciousness over there. How risk taking that can be. But she has been doing that. So we have such an amazing personalities between us who teach us by their example that how we should be doing our Krishna consciousness, how we should be preaching all around with the full motivation which these Srila Prabhupada disciples have given us. So we are thankful to such personalities. We still have their association around us. In case you want to associate with Mataji, she lives in Mayapur. And personally, if you want to go meet her, have your queries solved, you can still go to her. We have such personalities given in sight of our eyes so that we can learn from their personal examples how to preach, how to stay balanced, and n number of things which they teach by the personal examples. जय हरग्रेश यशोमती माता जी की जय, जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे, हरि हरि बोल.